Okay, in this video we are going to continue looking at quadratics, but this time some of them don't require using the calculator. They're giving us a table or a picture of a graph, and we're going to have to sort of figure out what we're going to do here. So number 5 says Nancy threw a ball up from a roof of a 50-foot building with some velocity at 40 feet per second, and the table shows the relationship between the time elapsed and the ball's height above the ground. So when you get a problem like this, you want to take a look at first the title of the column, and this one says that the time after Nancy threw the ball. So she didn't throw it at all at 0 seconds. She hasn't thrown it yet, and the ball is 50 feet above the ground. So that means she was up on top of a building 50 feet high or something. Okay, so maybe drawing a picture helps. So if this is a building and she's at the top, it's 50 feet tall. So here's the ground and some windows here if you want to draw some windows, whatever. Sorry about my artistic skills. And she's going to take a ball and she's going to throw it, and over here this is going to be the time, and here's the height. Okay, so the ball goes up in the air, and it goes up, it goes up, it goes up, and then it starts coming back down. And it looks like after 2.5 seconds, it's back on the ground, or back at 50 feet. Okay, well, and regardless of whether you draw the picture or not, let's look at the question. It says, if the height of the ball is a function that's quadratic, okay, and we don't really care about that too much, it says, between what times? So we're looking for the answer between these times is the ball 70 feet. Okay, so we know we started off at 50 and we're looking for 70, right? Well, then it goes up to 66 feet, and then it goes to 74. So 70 is going to be right there in the middle somewhere, right? So what 2 seconds give us that 70 feet? Well, at a half a second, it was 66. And at 1 second, it was 74. So the answer is going to have to be between 0.5 and 1 second. So we would choose answer choice H. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. Okay, the next question says, what are the zeros of the function? Okay, so here is a key word. When you see zeros, that means when y equals 0. And when you see the word 0, they also could ask you for what are the solutions. Okay, what are the solutions? And there's one other word that they could also use, and it's called the roots. Alright, so let me draw a quick picture here. There's the axis, and let me draw it in another color. And let's say we have some quadratic that looks maybe something like this. And what I'm looking for is where does y equal 0? So that would be right here and right here. So there's the x-axis and there's the y-axis. So remember, when it's sitting on the x-axis, it doesn't have any height. It doesn't go up. It's not down. It's right there where I drew those 2 green dots. And this one might be a negative 3 right there. And this might be a positive 3 or something like this, okay? We're not sure what it is in this problem. So let's go ahead and put this in the calculator. And we're going to put this one in y1. And we're going to put y2. We're going to set it equal to, you got it, 0, okay? So in y2, we're going to put a 0 into there, okay? And then we're going to go look and see if we can find the intersection. Alright, so let me show you a trick here. We can turn the calculator on, that'd be helpful. And I'm going to clear out what I had from the last video. and I'm just going to put in exactly what I see. I'm going to be very careful that I type it in exactly like I see it. So I'm going to do alpha y equals, and I'm going to do the numerator denominator to give me a fraction, and I'm going to type in 1/2, and then there's a, whoops, let me delete that, and notice I'm in the denominator. See how it's blinking at me there? Use the right arrow to get out of that fraction, and then type in x plus 4, x plus 4, close the parentheses, open the parentheses, and then we have an x minus 6, and let's go ahead and do our zoom. Number 6, always our best friend. And we can't see the bottom of the quadratic, but we can see where it crosses the x-axis, right? It looks like it crosses it at, let me see if I can drag this over here, and we'll try to make this a little bigger so we can see it. And even if we just counted on this one, if we just drew or counted, we'll see that it's -1, -2, right here, -3, and looks like -4. So, you know, I could probably go ahead and pick answer choice A just by looking at the graph. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is right here, okay? That's 6, and that's -4 over here. This red dot, and that's probably going to give us our answer. But let's go ahead and try the calculator just a little bit more in depth here. And let's see. Hang on one second. There we go. Alright, so we've got our calculator here, and into the second equation, because I'm looking for a 0 or a solution, which is the same thing, I'm just going to type in 0 right here. And you don't see that line being graphed. Well, if that concerns you, just go back to y equals. Let me show you another quick little hint. Okay, so there's my y equals 0. See how I'm on there? Use your left arrow and go over till it's blinking right there. See how it's blinking? Hit enter until you get a thick line on there. See how that changed from a very thin line to a thick line? Now when I graph it, you should see it get thick around the x-axis, and there it goes right there. Alright, so that's kind of helpful, and you got it from the last video. We hit second calculate, and this time we're going to look for the intersection. Alright, and we're going to move our spider so we can find it. Just use your left and right arrow keys. I'm using the left one this time, and I can see that the answer is pretty close to -4, right? But remember, since I'm doing the intersection, I just hit enter 3 times once I get close to the answer, and you can see that that -4 is there. Let's go ahead and practice it one more time. Hit second calculate, and look for number 5 again. And this time I'm going to use the right arrow key and move the spider or the cursor all the way over. Just keep hitting it, even though it's going to disappear for a minute. Don't worry about it. Just keep hitting it, and eventually you'll come back to the answer here. And come on. Looks like I was starting to see it now. There it is. Just be patient. And the answer is close to 6 right there. Go ahead and hit enter 3 times. And your answer is 6, 0. Okay, so we did find the correct answer. Alright, let's move on to the next one here. This is the last one. Okay, this one says the graph of the function is shown below. Alright, and they're asking us for 2 separate points. And the order that they're asking us in is important because they're asking us first for the y-intercept. Okay, so that's going to be the first set of x, y values here on the graph. And just remember, there's your x and there's your y coordinate. And, you know, we always start at the origin and we go from there, right? So, let's see if I can zoom in on this one a little bit. Sorry about that. There we are. And we start at the origin. Let me draw that again. And we always count our x coordinates first. remember your ordered pairs are in X and Y, so positive values you're going to move to the right, negative values you move to the left, and for Y's, if it's positive you go up, and if it's negative you go down. Alright, so let's look and see if we can find the y-intercept. Well, the y-intercept is where does it cross the y line? So it looks like it's crossing way down here at -1, 2, 3. So remember, the y-intercept, we don't move at all from side to side. So that's a 0 for the x, and then we went down 3. So just like the alphabet, x comes first, y comes second when you graph. So it looks like we could have answer choice F and G, so we're going to eliminate H and J straight away. Alright, the next part of the problem, and I'll change colors here, switch it to blue, let's say. We're looking for the x-intercepts. So where does it cross the x line? Alright, and here, remember, just as a note, the x-intercept is also known as the solution, and solution is also known as the x-intercept, and sometimes they like to call it the root, or the roots. There's two of them. And I'd like to highlight something here, kind of helps you remember maybe. Here you have the letter O in solution and the letter O in solution. You have the letter O in root, the letter O in root, and so that kind of helps me remember that those two O's look sort of like a 0, so it could be a helpful way to remember that. So let's go take a look and see if we can identify those two crossing spots. And I'll just put a big green X where I think those answers are. I've got one answer here. And if I could select the pen, we'd be in business here. Okay, so we have an X right here, and we have a crossing right here. And the crossing is at -3. -3 is this guy right here. And that looks like x equals 1 right there. So which one has an x for -3 and a y value of 0? There's our root. And the other root, or the other solution, or the x-intercept, is at 1. So it looks like answer choice G, and we're eliminating F, and we've got it. Alright. That's it for this video.